Ngawang Dhamchoe, but for those who don't know, he is from the same monastery as Lama Ngawang, and I think everybody know Lama Ngawang. And Lama Ngawang was in Australia, Sakatapawling, working together with Khenpo Ngawang Dhamchoe for a few years before Lama Ngawang immigrated here. So this is the background. And Khenpo has established a Dromi Buddhist Institute. And, he's taught the Dharma for many, many years. And he's also Jesung Kusho's translator. Jesung Kusho has, very high regard for Khenpo and has invited him to help her with translation for her teaching trips several times. So let us welcome Khenpo and then to give us this teaching. And, for the sake of the progress of the teaching, I would request that everybody reserve the questions until the end after Khenpo finish his teaching, which would be roughly an hour. And then after that, we have half an hour for question and answer. So without wasting further time, Khenpo, please begin. Thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Thank you. Thank you, Saja Sichin Tuptin Ling, giving me this opportunity to share these three vows. So this is a very, again, vast topic. So I try my kind of ability summarize in this three session. First, I'm going to share a little bit of history in the Patimoksha vow. This term, then next week, next different day in Australia and Canada. So next Tuesday in your time here in Western, then talk a little bit Bodhisattva vow, and then Thursday your time, Friday our time, I will share a little bit Vajrayana vow. So before I begin my kind of a short share this Dharma with you, I just do a short prayer. 다기 저와뱀에 되는 거를 좀 그거는 그동 투중으로서도 시저들이 좀 그런 거를 되게 상연치는데도 정글라메자라서 왔는데 선전들이 선보는 노예 저처럼 주요 토모트 바에 주요 콜로고 Okay, so first I just begin with a brief why Sakya Pandita composed this Shastra, clear differentiation of three vows. So it's good to capture a little bit history where this motivation came from. So in this Sakya Pandita's Shastra, three vows, it's kind of tidy up what Buddha taught these three vows. Because in the past, there's some mess or some incorrect teaching view, so forth. So in India, it's just there's a lot of non-Buddhists has a wrong view or wrong method, so forth. So those are not the topic of these three vows. The reason is back in India, such as Naga and Dharmakriti clearly refuted the wrong view of some heretic view. So I'm not going to this three vow refuting the wrong view of back in India heretic views. That's first. And then second, within the Buddhism, after Buddha passed away, then they set up 3 counseling, first and second and third. So first counseling, after Buddha passed away, I had counseling kind of sum up all his teaching. And in that time, Vaishali is a very important holy site of the Buddhist pilgrimage. Buddha spent most of his time after he fully attained enlightenment, also performed many summer retreat there. So in that very place, kind of some bhikshu who ordained Sangha did mistakes. There says around 40 different types of mistakes committed over there. So those mistakes corrected by 70 arhat. So after first council, the third council, and then it clear and purified. And then second time, council of the Buddha, we call the Mahadeva Bhikshu, ordained person. And he also taught many incorrect dharma. So in order to refute that, again, 500 arhat, 500 bodhisattva, and then around 1,600 non-enlightened pandit, scholar, refuted their view. So this is a clear council, pretty much established the purity of the Buddha's Sharvakayana school. That's the second part. And the third, even in Mahayana, there are 3 times obstacle came and degenerate Mahayana teachings. So at one point, the Asanga directly visit to meet or receive teaching from the Maitreya Buddha. Out of that, he refuted many wrong view or incorrect practice of the Mahayana teachings, Asanga. Not only that, also in the Madhyamika Avatara by Nagarjuna, as well as Chandrakriti, saying, lesser view, kind of purify the higher view. For instance, Buddhism, we sum up into 4 schools. 4 schools are such as we call the Vabhasaka school, Swatantraka school, mind-only school, in the what called the Madhyamika schools. So whatever the Vabhasaka school having mistake view or incorrect method, or refuted by Swatantraka schools. So whatever Swatantraka have a wrong view, refuted by mind-only school or Chitta Mother schools. So whatever Chitta Mother schools view or whatever mistake there, Madhyamika kind of refuted. So when I say refute others' view, make sure we don't take as kind of here we're fighting who's right, who's wrong. That's not the motivation. The motivation is root, kind of we have to go to the kind of what called the root of the grass, kind of a root. Whatever, regardless you are Buddhist or non-Buddhist, our prime wish is to liberate it. The reason we want to be liberated, every school, whether Buddhist or non-Buddhist, knows some form of samsara. The nature of samsara is suffering, so we should be free from that state. So individual school, they try best to find the path where to liberate it. So the intention point of view, no differences, every one of us looking for the best. But the method and view come along, then it's interrupt to reach based on our aiming for. So these, the high school, kind of more act as a kind of older brother or older sister, not bully them, rather to bring them in the right place. So more in the form of help others, rather than defeat your view is wrong, my view is right, not kind of to display I'm the right, you're wrong, rather than to help you to reach destination that you're searching, you're looking for. So in this way, we always important to bring, when we are refuting, it's not kind of saying one is wrong, other's right. So just kind of correcting them. So in that way, they can reach their destination. That's very important to take in an optimistic way. It's so important. So in this way, all the Sajja Pandita's these three vows, not refuted another Indian wrong, non-Buddhist wrong view, no kind of back in India, there's a mistake in the Sharvaka school, Mahayana school, not refuting here. So what then also kind of Sajja Pandita, these three vows, not refuting all the mistakes that occur in Tibet. For instance, Buddha Dharma came in Tibet officially, I said, when it's a flourish under the king of Tizun Dzin, 8th century. So soon after, because kind of in any part when Chandrarakshita, the first kind of abbot, introduced Vinaya system in Tibet. When Chandrarakshita was alive, the Vinaya system in Tibet was very pure. There's not any mistakes. Then after Chandrarakshita passed away, then kind of Buddha Dharma slightly kind of mess up, kind of become like a diluted. So what diluted was is some point we call the Hashan in Tibetan, but usually we call the Mahayana teacher, Zen master, came in Tibet during the Songtsen Gompo's time, after the Chandrarakshita passed away. And then this Zen Mahayana teacher says all these gradual paths, such as the practice of loving kindness, that develops the compassion, then bodhicitta, are useless effort. Rather, one should meditate, not thought, non-conceptual state. That alone is a complete path to gain enlightened or liberation state. So in this way, it becomes very popular in Tibet at that time. And then somehow, this kind of establishment of Hashan's school in Tibet, and some kind of concern, it may kind of cause to degenerate the pure Buddha Dharma in Tibet. So that time, Chandrarakshita's student, one of I'm trying to make it short because we have to cover a lot. And I kind of realized that Chandrarakshita said, when in Tibet, not going to much obstacle non-Buddhist viewpoint of view, because Pema Sambhava tame all of them. So in the future, within Buddhists, we're going to have a different view that can cause some kind of obstacle to flourish Buddha Dharma. So if that happens, then you should invite my student that live in India to clean that messiness of the Dharma. Then he approached kind of a requester king of Tibet, Dharma king, Songtsen Gompo, and then Songtsen Gompo invited Kamala Shila, and then Kamala Shila refute that view, and then it's a kind of cleanse all this wrong concept, establish a pure kind of Buddha Dharma in Tibet by Kamala Shila in the late 8th century. Then after that, for the last more than few centuries, or one or more centuries, then end of the 10th century, Ling Dharma, we call the evil king of Tibet. So he again destructed Buddha Dharma in Tibet. So after that, some fake, you may say, or incorrect Buddha Dharma kind of increased in Tibet, saying sexual is the path to gain liberation and so forth. So again, they're going to become obstacle to flourish pure Buddha Dharma. And then one of the great translators called the Lochin Rinche Sangpo. So Lochin Rinche Sangpo composed, we call the Shastra, a clear differentiate Dharma and non-Dharma. So in that way, that wrong view or wrong method refuted. Then later on, again, some kind of impure Dharma began to start in Tibet, particularly in the Mantrayana tradition. So then Lochin Rinche Sangpo's student called Shiva Yue, Then he again refuted that wrong view. And in this way, up to Sajin Kunganingbo came or was born, there's a less mistake Buddha Dharma in Tibet, because one after another master came and clean up all this wrong method, wrong view, so forth. Then after Sajin Kunganingbo passed away, Sajin Kunganingbo was born late, what you call the 10th century, then died in the mid or 11th century, Sajin Kunganingbo. So after Sajin Kunganingbo passed away, till Sajin Kunganingbo, after Sajin Kunganingbo passed away, till Sakya Pandita composed this Shastra, between that period of time, whatever mistaken Dharma, Buddha Dharma came, begin in Tibet, are cleaning. So that's the main purpose of Sakya Pandita composed this clear differentiation of three vows. Yeah. So after Sajin Kunganingbo, after Sakya Pandita's time. So to go through a bit more detail on that is when Sakya Pandita begin to compose a clear differentiation of three vows, so he almost finished halfway. Can you hear me first? If you can hear me, yeah, that's good, thank you. So when he reached halfway of this composing this Shastra, halfway, then some rumor began in Tibet. What rumor began in Tibet was Sakya Pandita composing this particular Shastra based on the discriminations, because he loves his Sakya school, he dislikes other school, so he based on the discriminative point, kind of based on the discrimination. So this rumor gradually kind of getting bigger and bigger. Eventually, that rumor come to close to one of the Sakya Pandita's disciple, and then he approached Sakya Pandita. All this rumor said, now it's better to stop compose this text, because if you keep composing, it may become obstacle in future your Dharma activities, because lots of people saying this is a very discriminative kind of a view. It's not a kind of a Dharma. So in this way, they request to Sakya Pandita, please stop to compose the rest of the text. And then Sakya Pandita saying, are composing this Shastra is not to defeat or defeat someone or refuting someone. Neither I'm not composing out of my arrogant or ego mind. Rather, I'm composing this, it may some kind of contribution to Buddha Dharma. So that his intention, he kind of share is a clear intention to contributing Buddha Dharma rather than discriminating. But somehow, if lots of people are not happy with what I'm composing, then better I stop to compose the rest of the Shastra or text. So in this way, Sakya Pandita accept to stop composing the rest of these Shastras. And then when he accept to stop composing the rest of the text, and that very night, Sakya Pandita had a dream. Dream was he found such a very beautiful Buddha statue in midst of the garbage. So he picked that up and tried to clean that statue. When he tried to clean that statue, he saw lots of people not happy to clean that statue. And then he left that statue there. Soon he left there, then everyone kind of throwing more garbage top of this statue. That's one dream that very night. And then same night, he also dream Manjushri showing him his back to the Sakya Pandita. And the same night, he also dreamed about the Nagarjuna he lining backwards to the tree trunk, kind of tree, and then it shows like he's unwell kind of appearance. So next morning, when he awake, then Sakapanta interpret that dream, that dream or negative dream is, and from like what he interpreted was, if I compose the remaining this clarify differentiation of three vow, human beings not going to be happy. If I stop composing the rest of this text, then all the deities not going to be happy. Yeah, so he realized that. So he thought deity not happy is more important than humans not happy. So in this way, he changed, Sakapanta changed his mind. He kind of approached his guru and the Trubhajan and apologized or confessed, said, now I'm going to change my promise. I'm going to begin to compose the remaining of this clarify, what called the clear differentiation of the three vows. He pledge. So in this way, he completed this text. So this is just a brief history, reason why he composed this clear differentiation of three vows. So these three vows actually talk about entire body of the Buddha Dharma. Means like these three vows sums up entire practice of the Buddha Dharma. There's nothing excluded. So it's so profound, this three vows that Sakapanta composed. So we need to just say they all compile or sum up into three vows. It's not good. We need to give a kind of explanations. We need to give some detailed kind of reasons. So reason is that when we talk about practice of Buddha Dharma, practice of the Buddha Dharma, we make it into three parts. Sometimes we call the root of the tree, main kind of a body of the tree, and then fruit of the tree. Sometimes we describe that way. But in this case, what we try is like Vinaya, Paramita, and then Mantrayana. We make it three parts. So the Vinaya is a common kind of a Buddha Dharma practice. So Vinaya is a common Buddha Dharma practice based on Sharvakayana schools. So Sharvakayana school main practice is Vinaya systems. And then second, in the Mahayana, the main practice is Paranjana Paramita. So this Paranjana Paramita also we call the common practice of Buddha Dharma. So common means like this is what we call the six Paramita, both Mahayana and Vajrayana practice. Therefore, we call the common. And then Vinaya, as I mentioned earlier, Shavakayana point of view of Vinaya, also we call common because Vinaya is we call the Patimoksha. So Patimoksha practice both the Shavakayana school, Mahayana school, and Vajrayana school. So therefore, we call the common practice. So what is the uncommon practice? Mantrayana is empowerment, particular Vajrayana practice. Particular Vajrayana practice is first one need to receive the major empowerment. After that, then we have to practice the process of two creations, creation of a deity and the process of completion. These are not known in both the Mahayana and the Shavakayana. So therefore, we call the uncommon practice. So now kind of come back to the common Shavakayana school point of view is the Vinaya teaching, Vinaya practice. So Vinaya practice, we bring quotation from the Patimoksha Sutra. So and the Patimoksha Sutra says, beginning, one should not commit any non-virtues. So again, I'm not going to emphasize detail on it because many of you know, of course, there's infinite non-virtues. So this infinite non-virtues sum up into three bodies: mind, speech, and the body. mind, there's a 3 non-virtues, speech, there's 4 non-virtues, and then body, there's a 3, altogether 10 non-virtues. So they should not commit any of these 10 non-virtues. That's the first one. And then second, you must accumulate excellent virtues. So virtues and excellent, you shouldn't be differentiated. Yeah, virtues means like, for instance, without pledge, without committing, you stop telling lie. It's a virtues, but it's not excellent virtues. But based on the vow, you'd say, I'm taking vow, not telling lie. Based on the vow, you're not telling lie, is because excellent virtues. How you differentiate virtues and excellent virtues? Virtues, it brings us samsaric pleasure, samsaric happiness, but excellent virtues liberate us from samsara. So in this way, every virtues are not same. You must be differentiate. Yeah, excellent means like that takes us to free us from samsara. So in this way, we call that accumulating excellent virtuous deed. The second. And the third, you must tame your mind. So this tame mind is specifically saying, I think, is a tame one's grasping of self or grasping of 5 aggregate. These two that kind of kept us in the samsara. As long as we know free grasping of self and aggregate, we never ever going to be free from samsara. So that very mind we need to tame. So these 3 are some principles, the practice of the Buddha Dharma in the Charvaka or Vinaya systems. Yeah, it's so important, this is Vinaya systems. The prime practice in the Vinaya, these 3. Yeah, these 3. And then when we say Vinaya is Partimoksha, Partimoksha is important. So Partimoksha means like say one completely kind of abandoning 10 non-virtues. Yeah, we call the Partimoksha. And then again, there's in the Tibetan, we call there's 3 types of vow in the Partimoksha, kind of we call the relative Partimoksha or absolute Partimoksha. I may have said that way. But the relative means like not genuine Partimoksha. Yeah, not genuine Partimoksha means you may receive, for instance, full ordination according the ritual ceremony. It appears because you receive proper kind of Partimoksha, kind of what called the big full ordained vow through the ceremony of Vinaya system, but your motivation may be not correct one. Motivation is, for instance, some of us will become monk or nun in order to be kind of fear of 3 reborn in 3 lower realms in the future. Out of that fear, we want to born in human realms. And that purpose we take in the full ordination, then that is not Partimoksha, because that vow is vow that lead us to higher rebirth within a samsara, rather than liberate us from samsara. So we don't call the Partimoksha vow, that one. And then second one is, but not nowadays, not much applied that much. But in ancient times, say, if I commit some kind of crime, I'm going to be end up in, say in Tibet, when the Dharma rule in Tibet, if I commit some kind of crime, I'm definitely going to receive the what called the punishment. So in order to avoid that punishment, I quickly turn into become monk or nun. So soon you become nun or monk, then you avoid that punishment of whatever you commit crime. So that purpose, you're receiving full ordination. Also, we don't call the Partimoksha. So Partimoksha means like one need to really, first we have to hear, of course, the entire nature of samsara is ocean of suffering. So every practice that I do, make sure it not cause me to gain samsaric pleasure. Rather, every practice I will do free me from samsara. So this we call the renunciation mind. You want to renounce, you want to be genuinely free from samsara. And that purpose you receive in the vow called the Patimoksha vow. So Patimoksha vow is really, what really saying is, there's two bears. What bears on is, what we call every negative speech, negative actions comes from negative mind. So negative mind is the best of all the bad things. As well as negative mind is the best for good or bad. You may say both way, yeah. So virtually negative speech, negative action comes from negative mind. So when we say Patimoksha means based on the renunciation motivation, one completely avoiding kind of a 7 non-virtues, yeah, 4 negative speech, 4 negative action. So these 7 directly harm others. Yeah, mental is not directly harm others. Indirectly it harm others, but directly what harm is when you say lie, condescending lie, or gossip, harsh words, so forth, or physically you stealing, killing, sexual misconduct, directly harm others. So in this way, to abandoning these 10 non-virtues, kind of is because of vow. So vow means like what we call abandoning 10 non-virtues. So this way, the main practice of the Vinaya or Hinayana or Shavagayana school is main practice. We should adopt 10 virtuous deed and avoid 10 non-virtuous deed. So that's the principal practice of Vinaya systems. So that's the first. So we call the common practice. Reason we call the common practice, whether it comes later on, whether you be a Mahayana practitioner or Vajrayana practitioner, none of these two can be begun in absence of Patimoksha vow. So every root is the root of the path, Buddha Dharma is a Patimoksha vow. So this reason is the first and most important root of the Buddha Dharma. So this is Vinaya. So without Vinaya, you cannot be Buddhist. You cannot be Dharma practitioner. So that's the first and foremost important. And the second, Mahayana path. So Mahayana path, again, Vajrapanjara, the stated, is again important. Make sure our great compassion and emptiness are inseparable. So emptiness embodies with the compassion. Compassion is embodied with the emptiness. If you separate this or devoid one to another, one cannot be a complete Mahayana path. So once the main practice of the Mahayana is the join or united or union of compassion and emptiness. These two is the principal highway of the Mahayana. So when you practice these two, great compassion and emptiness together, become like you may say bodhicitta, or you may say it's a Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So Buddha, Dharma, Sangha in the Mahayana point of view, no other than combination or union of the compassion and emptiness. So this is so important, like 2 wings. Yeah, if you haven't got 1 wing, there's no way one can fly. So similarly, kind of we call the 2 wings. Emptiness frees us samsaric state of concept. Compassion frees us nirvana, kind of a what called a wanting mind. So usually what we call the Mahayana result is Buddhahood. So Buddhahood is a non-abiding state, neither in the samsara nor in the nirvana. So how it can free both extreme of samsara and nirvana due to this great compassion and emptiness. So union of these two is to become like a Mahayana path. So in this way, out of the great compassion, again, great compassion not means like today I have a very strong feeling of compassion to someone. That don't call the great compassion. Great compassion measured by when you wishing others be free from suffering and cause suffering, and that very mind that you thinking of free others from suffering and cause suffering, the object is entire sentient being without any exceptions. So that very mind we call the great compassions. Yeah. So this is very important. That's what we call the great compassion. Rather than you have such a strong emotion to free someone from suffering, you can say it's a good compassion, but not called consider here when we talk about not called the great compassion. So out of the compassion, what motivates is I want to kind of attain Buddhahood. I want to attain Buddhahood. So this very mind want to attain Buddhahood to help to free all beings from samsara. That is we call the bodhicitta. So in this way, often I'm saying, as a Mahayana practitioner, our goal is not mere attain Buddhahood. That's not our main goal of the Mahayana practice. Mahayana main goal is to help all sentient beings. In order to help all sentient beings, the best way to help when you attain Buddhahood. So in this reason, you're interested to attain Buddhahood to serve other sentient beings rather than gain yourself such a wonderful state. Yeah? So this is really important to not make a mistake out of it. So anyway, wishing to attain, that's also to explain, without a compassion, you really want to free others from suffering and cause suffering. You realize I'm not in a position right now to free that. Neither worldly God, nor enlightened person, only person who has to free all beings from samsara, reach in that state is the Buddhahood. Once you realize that, then you wishing to attain Buddhahood. That very mind you call the, either you can call the wishing bodhicitta or kind of use a bodhicitta mind. Yeah. So this bodhicitta is what called one of the wishing bodhicitta, or what called the related bodhicitta, is immediate condition to develop the absolute bodhicitta. Because without or absence of the related bodhicitta, it is impossible one can attain absolute bodhicitta. So these are summed up into Mahayana path. So Bodhisattva vow, yeah, Bodhisattva vow one can only receive when you cultivate great compassion out of the developed bodhicitta. Then you pledge yourself. Now onward, I'm going to dedicate my life to practice Dharma, attain Buddha, or sentient being. So that very pledge is we call the Bodhisattva vow. It will come later on. So today is not main topic of the bodhicitta. So just I'm talking the whole Dharma sum up into these three practices. So this is a Mahayana practice. And then third is Vajrayana practice. Again, one of the Tantra stated, the Vajrayana practice is two parts. One is a ripening method. Second is to what called it progress and lead us to liberation state. So means like first one need to receive major empowerment. Yeah. So major empowerment, what really means like kind of it's really important. If you look into the nature of our this ordinary body, speech, and mind, we don't, like you and I as an ordinary sentient being, we don't have any idea what's the nature of this body, speech, and mind. So reality, these three body, speech, and mind are not different from the Vajradhara's body, speech, and mind. But we fail to recognize that. So during the empowerment, Guru introduced us, your body is no ordinary body. Your speech is no ordinary speech. Your mind is no ordinary speech. Rather, your body is a Vajradhara body. Your mind is a Vajradhara mind. Your speech is Vajradhara. So introduce you. So empowerment is entire, not kind of form of blessing or form of ceremony. Rather, it's instructing us to recognize our primordial nature of body, speech, and mind. So these days, more or less like empowerment is more like a blessing. You just go there, feel good, but you don't know really much aware of what's happening there. But traditionally, that very moment introducing us. So this is really going to become like we call the empower. You're not looking someone else to get some kind of pleasure or blessing. Rather, you discover yourself have all these qualities. So when you realize, you become like empowered. So this we call empowerment. So in this way, what we're saying is first one need to receive empowerment. It help us wrapping our kind of opportunity to see the innate nature of the body, speech, and mind. Once we see, then we need to develop that, further develop to complete it. So in order to complete that one, then we talk about the two stages. The first is process of self-creation in the dative form. And then second, we're doing the process of a completion stage, these two. So this kind of what we call the sum up into Manthayana traditions. So in this way, now you're not going to find any other form of practice of Buddha Dharma which is not included in these three. So entire Buddha Dharma practice that we do sum up into these three: Patimoksha, Bodhisattva, and the Manthayana. So in this reason, the main topic of this clear differentiation theory vow is the entire body is so vast, there's nowhere we can just summarize in such a short period of time. So in this way, all some of these three vows. So now, kind of go through individual things. First, we the Patimoksha vow, Bodhisattva vow, and the Manthayana, Vijayadhara, with some kind of Vidyadhara kind of vow. So three vows. So these three also is important in this way. The Vinaya vow, in the kind of, it's good to look in this way. All these three vows, all these Vinaya, Bodhisattva, and Manthayana vow, kind of all practice in one person is we call the Vajrayana practitioners. Only Vajrayana practitioner does all these three practices: Vinaya, Patimoksha, Bodhisattva, and the Vajrayana practice. So the reason I'm going to explain here more detail on that. So the first, in a Shavakayana kind of a Vinaya system, in the Vinaya only talk about Patimoksha. There's no even name exists, Bodhisattva vow and the Manthayana vows. So it's a very kind of common practice, only Patimoksha vow. And then the second is the Mahayana practice does two things: Patimoksha vow as well as the Bodhisattva vow. So Paramitayana school. Then in kind of how it kind of first I talk a little bit, I kind of just mix up Vinaya system, no talk about another Paramita, no Manthayana. In the Vinaya, Patimoksha system is only just practice Vinaya systems. So based on the Vinaya or Patimoksha vow, then they do Shamatha and Vipassana meditations. These two, Shamatha and Vipassana, they believe, I'm talking about Shavakayana schools believe, this is the only path to gain all this, we call the three result. Three results means Shavaka state, Partika Buddha state, and Buddhahood can gain by this Shamatha and Vipassana. So that means like in the Hinayana, they have only their own path can gain three results: Shavakayana, Partika, and Buddha state. Then second, in the Mahayana school, again, without the Patimoksha vow, so if you not took refuge vow, you're not in a position to receive the Bodhisattva vow. So you must receive the refuge vow before one takes the Bodhisattva vow. So in that sense, like a Mahayana practitioner practicing both Pratimoksha as well as a Bodhisattva vow. There's no other way, So you, without the taking refuge in Buddha Dharma, there's no way you can practice Mahayana practice. So the dual practitioners, Pratimoksha as well as the Bodhisattva vows. Now, Mantrayana practitioner, particular Vajrayana practitioner, you must have both Pratimoksha and Bodhisattva. If you miss one of these two, you're not in a position to become like a Vajrayana practitioners. So in this way, when you, many of you may receive major empowerment, there's a preliminary part of the empowerment, main part of the empowerment. So preliminary part of the empowerment, usually we receive the refuge vow and Bodhisattva vows. And then main part, again, repeat a little bit about Pratimoksha vow and Bodhisattva vow. The main, we receive the Mantrayana vow. So in this way, it will come later on, what we call in the Vajrayana system, when we call the root guru means like a guru who giving us the 3 vow in a one spot. That we call the root guru. So this only receiving when we receive the major empowerment. You receive a Pratimoksha vow, Bodhisattva vow, and the Mantrayana vow. So whoever gave you these 3 vows in one spot, consider as one's root guru. So this way, now you know that all these 3 vows uphold by the Vajrayana practitioner. So Vajrayana practitioner, extra kind of what we call the responsibility. You have to protect Pratimoksha vow, you have to protect the Bodhisattva vow, you have to protect Mantrayana vow. So you have 3 tasks. So this reason, so advanced and some big responsibility. It's not going to be easier, so that's one thing. So now, so this is a kind of way. So now we talk about a little bit on the Sakapendita, for instance, when he pledged to compose this text, in the beginning, he paid homage. Yeah, that's a traditional. Pay homage is kind of a remove obstacle, whatever obstacle may stop the composing. Also, pay homage is receive blessing from the Guru and the Triple Gem. And pay homage is like it shows you humbleness rather than arrogance. So there's so many reasons. So always in the beginning, pay homage. So Sakapendita begin with the pay homage. And then second, who's ordinary? You have to say when he composed clear differentiated 3 vow, audience, who's he talking? Yeah, to whom he is sharing this Buddha Dharma is important. So to whom he is sharing this Buddha Dharma is need to some qualification to hear this Buddha Dharma. Yeah. So qualification is first, whoever listening, whoever studying, whoever reading must have a genuine faith to the Buddha Dharma first. That's first. And the second one is someone who genuinely practices Buddha Dharma according what the Sutra and the Shastra stated, rather than you making up your own Buddha Dharma. Yeah. So someone who really sees the value of the Buddha Dharma, want to do correctly. So those person, Sakapendita, actually share this 3 vows. So that's a person whom he speaking these 3 vows. Then second is what he topic is, again, no need to repeat that one, 3 vows. Yeah, topic is the 3 vows. Then who's saying this, who's composing, who teaching is a Sakapendita himself. Again, Sakapendita, there's no way we can describe qualities of the Sakapendita. We are so limited knowledge of he is so impossible we not start kind of explain entire quality. But if you talk about briefly, the body quality, for instance. Body quality is Sakapentada actually marked with a 32 major mark, 80 minor mark, like a Buddha. So it's incredible quality of the Sakapentada, the physical qualities. In the mind quality, he has an omniscient mind, knows all the conventional absolute realities. Speech quality, he teach Dharma in Sanskrit. No? So that's just summarize of the Sakapentada's kind of qualities. Then if you are talking a little bit more on that, say previous time, kind of a uninterrupted life after life, like a 24 lifetimes, he followed the Buddha Manjushri. No? So, and he become like a Manjushri. So he's a truly Manjushri came in human form. So in this very Sakapentada right now we talk about was born in Tibet, yeah, kind of a late 11th century, kind of I think 12th century, sorry, mid 12th century when he was born. When he was born, his name Sakapentada, Sakapentada Kunga Jansen in Tibet we call it. His name appeared the door of the Bodh Gaya stupa in Sanskrit. You know, it's incredible. When he was born in Tibet, his name appeared the top of the gate of the Bodh Gaya stupa, and then that time many of that enlightened kind of who reside in the Bodh Gaya pay homage to Tibet. Now Manjushri was born in Tibet. That kind of incredible kind of proof he's a truly emanation Manjushri born in human forms. And then also Adisha Dipamkara. Adisha Dipamkara came in Tibet in the 11th century. You know, as again, I'm not going to talk too long. He went visited the Sakya because that time there's a bare land, there's nothing. So pay homage, and then he shared to his what called the attendants. Said in the future, in this very land, going to come 7 Manjushri. Then he saw 7 D, one whom, 1 Shri. So in the future, going to be Manjushri, we're going to be born here. Our Logadeshwara are going to be born here, and then Vajrapani going to be born there. So in this he prophesied. Later Sakapentada was to take birth there. So he's a truly Manjushri in human form. So in this way, Sakapentada become very, not only just famous in Tibet, even that famous went all the way to India. So that time few kind of Indian scholars get jealous, come all the way to Tibet to debate Sakapentada. They took many days to debate, and Sakapentada defeated that Hindu great master. And so in this way, it's an incredible story of the Sakapentada. So this is the person who composed these 3 vows. Then when he composed vow, of course he's a scholar, he never used scholastic kind of language, because if he used a scholastic language, then ordinary people may not understand this text. So he composed this text in such a middle way, not so scholastic a word, neither so kind of a, what you call the colloquial kind of language. So it's anyone, scholars can readable, ordinary unlearned person can readable. So he used this very middle kind of language. So access to any type of level of person can readable kind of, he composed in that kind of language. And then the motivation, when he composed this text, the motivation was, it's important. Yeah, he said, I have kind of what called the shakable faith to the Buddha Dharma, an unshakable faith to the Buddha Dharma. And then I want to protect this precious Buddha Dharma. You know, I want to protect this Buddha Dharma. But he not so much faith or respect, or more like he hasn't got much faith who teach in the wrong Dharma. He teach in incorrect way. But rather, I'm not angry or upset with them, but I get so compassion to them, because out of teaching the wrong way, not only just creating individual negative karma, then those who receiving taking the wrong path. So he developed such a great sense of compassion to them. So in this way, he kind of helped both listeners' point of view or who are teaching wrong in order to correct them. So these are the motivation that Sakapendra caused him to compose these 3 vows. So now, Patimoksha, main topic. So Patimoksha, there's 2 kind of Theravada or Sharvagayana perspective of Patimoksha's teaching, and the Mahayana perspective of Patimoksha teaching. There's 2 parts. It's important, 2 parts. So, first, kind of a Theravada kind of a actually it's this kind of very big topic. This clear differentiation of three vow has 11 topics. Actually, not only 3 vows, but 11 topics. So 11 topics as a part of Patimoksha vow. Second is a Bodhisattva vow, and third is a Mantrayana vow. Third topic. Fourth topic is the ritual ceremony that receive us these 3 vows, the 4th topic. 5th topic is how to protect and how to progress these 3 vows. 6th topic is the important point of the Bodhisattva practice. 7th topic is how to describe the emptiness, its essence of the compassion. 8th topic is the secret part of the process of creation and completion. 9th topic is how to success the Mahamudra, promoter mind, out of practice these 2 stages, process of creation and completion. 10th topic is one can be successful Mahamudra if you know how to connection, kind of what we call the in and outer element. You need to be right connected. If you have a right connect in and outer phenomena, then one can gain Mahamudra view or realization. This is the 10th one. And then 11th, the last one in this topic, talking about that kind of connection once you discover. So that connection really help us to progress your realization, that helps you to kind of move on from first bhumi to the second, to the 13th Vajradhara state. So this entire 3 vow topic is actually 11. So we're not going to summarize all of that, just we'll talk about 3 vows. 3 vows. So I just go through just a brief, vow. First, we talk about Vinaya vow. So Vinaya vow, or Patimoksha vow, what we call the Mahayana way or Hinayana way, 2 ways to receive. The first, Shavaka Patimoksha vow, we call the 7, what called the things. Upasaka means like a lay person's vow. Upasaka vow, male and female. So there are 7 Patimoksha. Upasaka male and female. Then second is, we call the novice in English, but in Sanskrit we call the what called the shiksha mana, kind of a novice vow. There's male and female become Sikh. one means like after novice, before you take full ordination of bhikshuni, there's one training, there's become 5. Then last is bhikshu in bhikshuni, full ordained male and female, become like a 7 vow. So we call that 7 vows. So these one, what called these 7 are must received. First one must receive the triple gem refuge, and then we receive these 7 vows. So this ritual that give us the 7 vows. And then time is in a Pratimoksha school or Vinaya school, only lifetime. When you die, then automatically you lose this vow. So this vow lasts day you took until you die. So it lasts only 1 lifetime. So that's a kind of a length of the time that can remain. But then this, that whatever vow you took, also have a result that benefit in this. There's 2 topics you can say: ripening result similar to the action. You may talk about 2 things. First, ripening result is after you die, if you hold this vow, not done for or not lost this vow, then you'll be born in high rebirth. So in high rebirth, again, it's really important. The prime cause to be born high rebirth is pure ethic. So pure ethic means like once you took vow, then you're not breaking that vow, you uphold until you die, then that very vow is fundamental cause to reborn higher realms, human or deva realms. So that's the principle. Ripening result of the vow is the next life, not in this life. Yeah. But again, you have to kind of, because Buddhist philosophy is talking a very broader point of view. You know? If you go to Pacific, there's so much you can kind of analyze. You know, when we talk about ripening, time of the ripening result, they talk about sometimes ripening in this very life, some of the time of the after death, some is indefinite time. So possibility, some of this ripening result can be ripened in this very life. But in a common point of view, there's a ripening after your death, next life, you be born higher rebirth. And the result similar to action is, if you receive the vow and hold this every day, in the beginning, you may find some kind of a hard to uphold the vow because you inexperience, you're not familiarized that. But then you keep hold, become like a second nature, then eventually you don't need to be mindfulness to hold the vow. Automatically, you just protect this vow. You know, if you look at such as our fortunate in this very time, like Ludin Khenchen Rinpoche, we have a very good example. You know, so like Ludin Khenchen Rinpoche is one of the, at the moment, the best example who hold the pure Vinaya kind of a system. So that's effortlessly he upholds these vows. There's no effort required at all. So this kind of a result similar to action is, if you keep holding, and then eventually you're not going to find hard. It's a very easy and most comfortable there. Not only that, also some result right in this very life. If you hold the pure vow that you received, it's kind of a what they call in this very lifetime, people respect you, and the triple gem blessing you, and there's so much kind of beneficial there. So these are the kind of one thing. And then Bodhisattva, kind of this we call the Vinaya, kind of the Sharavaka point of view of the Pratimoksha, lose when we die. Then Bodhisattva perspective, Mahayana perspective, Pratimoksha vow, not going to lose time of the death. Mahayana Pratimoksha, you taking from now until I reach Buddhahood. So as long as you're not breaking the vow, that vow stay until you reach Buddhahood. If you're breaking the vow, of course, before you die, it will lose. But if you don't break, then death is not the cause of the losing the Patimoksha vow. So that's the difference between the Shavakayana Patimoksha and then Bodhisattva Patimoksha. And then the reason is, actually, I can give you a little bit of example, why Shavakayana Patimoksha lose time of the death. Bodhisattva Patimoksha vow still remain after death. What's the differences? The difference is, especially I'm talking about the Vabhasaka school. Yeah. And the Vabhasaka school, there says a vow is primarily body and speech vow. Mind vow is not the real one, proper Vabhasaka school. And then Swatantrika and the Mahayana kind of point of view, the mind also the right view, kind of real view, real vows, not only just body and speech. So what I'm talking here is a Vabhasaka school saying the substantial cause of this vow is we call the invisible form. So they believe the vow is a physical form. So physical, there's two. One is visible, you can touch, indestructible. Other is an untouched, indestructible form. So in the Vabhasaka said this vow is indestructible, kind of indestructible means like not means like a diamond things, but nothing can block you, can go through kind of it's a form, but uninterrupted, undisturbed. So this anyway, they're talking about is a form things. So when you die, you lose all the form. So that's the reason you lose the Patimoksha vow, time of the death. Also in the ritual, you only saying, I'm taking this vow until I die. You're not saying I'm taking this vow until I reach arhatship. So there's no ritual exist. So that's the reason Vinaya or Patimoksha, the Shavaka school lose when we dies. And then the Mahayana Patimoksha vow follows after death because it's born out of the mind. So when we die, we not die in the mind, only physical die, yeah? So mind continues. So as long as you're not breaking the vow still follows. So this way, Pramana Vastika by the Chandrakriti saying, mind can cause the mind. Non-mind cannot cause the mind. So it means like, of course, everything has a fundamental, immediate, kind of different causes to develop the result. But the fundamental, what we call the substantial cause of the mind must be mind. Objective cause, not necessarily mind. For instance, eye consciousness. If you say eye consciousness, immediate condition means like a substantial cause, the present eye consciousness is result of the previous mind. But the objective condition is inanimate object. So this is not the substantial cause. So you may need a few conditions, but the substantial cause is a mind cause mind. Non-mind cannot cause the mind. So that's the differences. Yeah, it's important to differentiate that way. So Mahayana kind of Patimoksha caused by the mind. So after he or she dies, still the vows follows. So only where kind of in Abhidhamma Kosha says cause of losing vow is some point you say, oh, I cannot uphold the vow. I have to return my vow. So if you return your vow to whom you received, then you will lose. So whom you offer is a different tradition. Some says whom you receive the vow, you have to offer that very teacher. Some says that if you not go back to offer that one, you can offer to the statue. So that's a different opinion. So I will not go through that. But if once you offer, then you lose the vow, one thing. And the second is once you die, automatically you lose the vows. Third is you receive the vow in the male or female form. Some point you become like a union gender, you get both male and female gender comes, then because you physically, you change condition, then you lose the vow. And then another way of losing is one time, in the beginning, you took the vow, you believe cause and effect, because this is the part of getting liberation. And at some point you lose that belief, cause and effect, you develop the wrong view. If you do good things, nothing bad is going to happen. And if you do good things, I'm not going to have any good things out of it. If I do bad things, nothing going to happen bad things. You disregard to the cause and effect. You develop the wrong view. So once you develop a wrong view, also cause you kind of lose the Patimosha vows. So these are kind of if you not commit any of this, you can have this the vows. So that's a Patimosha vow. And then also we need to talk about a little bit when I say Mahayana Patimosha, not losing time of the dead, this Patimosha, what I'm referring is when you take refuge vow, I'm talking about, not other things. For instance, say Upasaka male and female, to the Bhikshu male and female, or to the 7 Patimosha vow. These kind of so vast, in the ancient time, there is a Mahayana ritual to receive the Upasaka vow or full ordained vow, so forth. Now they're lost, they don't exist. Mahayana ritual ceremony not exist to bestow full ordination vows. So every Mahayana Vajrayana practitioner, when they want to receive full ordination, we must use Shavakayana ritual. There's no other ritual exist. So when we receive the Shavakayana, through the Shavakayana ritual, we receive full ordination. Then you become like an ordained person, full of bhikshu or bhikshunis. So motivation is to attain Buddhahood, Mahayana motivation, you receive this full ordination. But then when you die this bodhisattva, bhikshu part, you lose it, because you receive according Shavakayana ritual, so it cannot follow this vow after you're dead. But the bodhisattva part, you not lose it. So that's you need to be differentiated. So you don't think, oh, I'm Mahayana point of view of bhikshu. After that, still I'm carrying this bhikshu vow with me. That's not. So you make sure it's not confuse these two. That's one thing. And then particular kind of we call the upasata kind of vow, means like a one-day vow. So that one-day vow also there's a Shavakayana point of view, one day Mahayana, we call at Mahayana precepts. So this also part of Patimokshas. So if you kind of both is a kind of a difference between these two is again, it's important. The ritual we're saying we need to use the Shavakayana school's ritual, but then who bestowed these vows has a slightly different Vabhasaka school or Swatantrika schools. Vabhasaka school says all these 7 Patimosha one must receive from the full ordained person, full ordained, and then kind of saying, again, there's so much, or what they're saying is like full ordination, you must receive from the Sangha, and then novice vow, Patimosha, or the Upasaka vow, you can receive from, not from Sangha, you can receive from the person. So the difference of Sangha and the person, two things. So I'm not trying to not confuse you. Sangha means like a minimum require 4 ordained person. If less than 4 ordained, fully ordained Sangha person, called the person, not Sangha. Sangha must be have a 4, at minimum must have a 4. So in this reason, minimum 4 ordained person, one need to receive fully ordained vows. But the remaining novice vow, you can receive from the 3 fully ordained person, or 2 fully ordained person, or 1 fully ordained person. So when you receive 3 or 2 or 1, they don't call the Sangha. they call the person, because the Sangha minimum require 4 ordained. So there's no 4, only 3. So that's a different Sangha and person. But reality, you must receive from the full ordained person. And then some Swatantrika school saying this one day, what called, for instance, one day precepts, you don't need to receive from the full ordained person. You can receive kind of a non-ordained person, such as the lay persons you can receive. So that's a little bit different between the Bada and Swatantrika school. And then both of these saying you must receive from the person or Sangha. But then again, the Mahayana point of view, slightly different. Mahayana saying, if there's a teacher, then you receive this one-day precepts from him or her. If there's no teacher, then you can receive this one-day vow from the statue. Yeah? So you don't need to be received neither a Sangha nor the person, but you can receive from the statue. So that's a slightly different. So in this way, today I may be just a brief, my topic is Patimoksha vow. So really Patimoksha in Tibet we call the Soso Tarbya Domba. So be Patimoksha vow means like, of course, first you must have a genuine perform what called the ritual ceremony. That's very important. Second, person who giving out this Patimoksha vow kind of must be fully ordained. So these two need to be the right one. Then on myself, I'm receiving this Patimoksha or not is up to me. So if my motivation is samsaric gain or samsaric kind of a protection fear, I may receive some form of vow, but cannot be Patimoksha vow. To be Patimoksha vow, I must recognize entire samsara, no matter wherever you be born, from hell to the formless realm, is not free from 3 suffering, suffering of change, suffering of progressive. So you want to free these 3 realms or 3 suffering. In order to that purpose, I'm receiving this vow, then only what you receive becomes like a Patimoksha vow. So that very Patimoksha vow is become like a path to gain arhatship. Yeah? Without that Patimoksha, only will better rebirth, but not going to gain arhatship. So in this is kind of difference between the Patimoksha and non-Patimoksha vow. Okay, so I will stop here today. So I'll take some questions if you have any questions.
We have 10 minutes for questions. Anybody have any questions?
Khenpo, it's Carol here.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, Khenpo. You said that the entire Buddhahood, Buddha Dhamma, is summarized into these 3 vows.
Yes.
So my question is about the common practices and what we call common and uncommon. So just to be clear, the common for the Vinaya is common to all. The Shamatha Vipassana is common to all Mahayana, Vajrayana. Similarly, the Mahayana is common to the Vajrayana, but uncommon to the Vinaya, and the Vajrayana is the only one, it has uncommon practices because they're not shared by the Mahayana or the Vinayana. Have I understood this correctly?
Oh, sorry, a little bit other way around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so Vinaya is kind of a practice all 3 schools, Shavaka, Mahayana, and Vajrayana is a common one.
Yeah. Common one.
Yeah, then the 6 paramita also we call the common because both Mahayana and Vajrayana share that one.
Yes.
Then empowerment and the process of creation and completion is not shared, neither Mahayana nor Shavaka. It's a very uncommon one.
Okay. So it's
Yeah.
really only the Vajrayana practices that are uncommon.
That's right. That's uncommon. Also, Vajrayana practitioner uphold all the three vows.
Yeah.
Only
That's right.
practice all the triple vow is the Vajrayana practitioners.
Okay. So, and the second question is, with the cause of losing, you lose the bhikshu vow at death, but if you've taken the Mahayana vow, that continues. What is the implication of that? You keep the bodhisattva vow, but does one must take again the ethical precepts and live life according to the 10 ethical precepts? Is that the implication of that?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, in ancient time, there is a minor ritual to bestow full ordination vow.
Yeah.
Those all lost it, now not exist anymore. So Mahayana or Vajrayana practitioner want to receive full ordination, we must receive from the Shavaka and the ritual ceremony. In that ritual ceremony, has only to bestow bhikshu or bhikshuni vow until you die, not beyond that. So this is after death, the bhikshu or bhikshuni vow automatically lose. But then the motivation that you take into attain Buddhahood, it still remains until you reach Buddhahood, unless you kind of give up that motivation.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Khenpo, for such clear outline. It's really terrific. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carol.
Any other questions? So Khenpo, maybe I would just make a remark myself. So you mentioned that the Bodhisattva vows carry over like until you gain enlightenment. So even when we die, we continue to have that vow. But it seems rather impractical because like we go into Bado state, we are already so confused. And when we are reborn, we completely forget who we are. We have to, we become babies. And we don't even remember that we had taken Bodhisattva vows before. So what happens? Do we lose the vows at that time because we don't remember, or what happens?
Yeah, that's a really good question. But it's hard to remember for beginner type of practitioner in Bado state. But just because you don't remember, not means you're going to lose the Bodhisattva vow, but only going to lose one day. You're going to give up to helping sentient being, or really want to give up. I don't want to help any sentient being. Only that time, then you will lose the Bodhisattva vows. Not just remembering is not the cause of losing the Bodhisattva vow.
Thank you. And I see Sandra has a question. Yeah. Sandra, you might unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. You're talking about the Shravakya ceremony is the way to get the vow for bhikshu. Is that in Vajrayana and all? It's the same ceremony?
Yeah, that's right. If you're a Vajrayana practitioner or Mahayana practitioner, they want to become fully ordained, like a bhikshu or bhikshuni, then they must receive according the Shavaka and the rituals. There's no other way.
Yeah, but didn't you say the Shravaka ritual was not the Vajrayana way? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, your motivation it becomes like a Mahayana. Then that bhikshu becomes like a Mahayana bhikshu.
So Jin's question says, when you die, you might not be, you don't carry that you're ordained with you, but you carry the motivation to help end the suffering.
That's
So
right.
you could be reborn and you wouldn't be ordained, right?
Yeah, that's right. When you're reborn, you're not ordained
Oh,
because at the time of the death, you're losing that vow. But you're not losing the motivation.
okay.
Yeah.
So that Shravakina vow ceremony is a very ancient ceremony that's still carrying on.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So every kind of Vajrayana school, like in the Sakapa school, Kajuba school, Gelupa school, we giving this ordination all based on the Shavaka ritual ceremony.
Well, it's if you try reading those vows, they're written up in such a way that's so ancient, it doesn't, you must have to interpret them for the modern day because the words are so strange in some of them.
Yeah, that's right. I think sometimes due to the time, you need to change. Some is not relevant today, some, others are more relevant. So you may, I'm not sure, kind of, I'm not really sure in the Sanskrit and the Pali text, but they all translate into Tibetan. So Tibetan language text is very much the same kind of 8th century text or today's text, not changes at all. Make sense? Hello?
Yeah, I know because
So,
I mean, Western people who get ordained, they have to figure out what this is all about.
yeah, that's right. I think there's not in the West or anything, you know, anyone who interests first you have to study.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you need to understand. Not only just understand, and then one need to know so one's own condition is relevant, and that's like almost like when you first unwell, then you need to look for the medicine. What medicine is really right medicine to free me this sickness. So same thing, it's not West or East, anything. It's just kind of we need to know our condition. Then what condition, once you know the condition, what kind of method that helps me to free that state.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, my pleasure. For instance, I always share this one. Dharma is not really kind of what you call the what you call the burial by the culture things. So when Vinaya introduced from India to Tibet, culture-wise, big differences in India thinking or Tibetan thinking. In the beginning, of course, they don't understand what value of the Vinaya at all, not value. Then later they learn Dharma, they understand the nature of the samsara, and then they saw the value of the Vinaya. Then Tibetan people begin to the interest to take a vow. So eventually it becomes like a part of a, you may say their culture become like a system. And it's similar in the West, it's very new, but then not everyone, but lots of other, our Western Sangha took ordinations. There's lots of monks, lots of nuns. They took because they feel comfortable. They thought this is really relevant, it's important. So it's kind of individual to individual kind of understanding is a more burial than culture or anything else.
Okay, if there are no other questions, then I would like to thank Khenpo for this very insightful explanation. I think it's very deep, and we are just holding like this 3 introductory classes, and then if people are interested, please do let us know. As we know, there's altogether 11 chapters, and Khenpo is just doing the preliminary. And with this, we close this session. Maybe Khenpo could lead us in dedication.
Sure. So thank you, everyone. So this is because of. Hello.
Hello?
Hello. Yeah, everyone can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
So you can recite this one. Someone can recite this one. 손놈들이야 덤녀서 봐요. 덤는
Only
예배도
you get on budget.
제가
Alone the body, Sibe Solendo, Yamal Power, Chitrekin about Kunduzamba, Yantish. The dog Pinky, Jesu Dal, Kewa, the dog coming about
도전시배 자와
the Tamji, Moakan, Tolong,
Okay, thank you. And
Thank you very much, Khenpo again. And we'll see you in a couple of days' time, same time.
thank you.
Thank you, Khenpo.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Khenpo.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Khenpo. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.